After watching this teaser trailer, it's under 2 minutes, and it still is incredibly impactful. But after seeing this quick teaser trailer, I have the sneaking suspicion, and it's a good suspicion, that this will be the prime example of what Dave Filoni can really do when he is given carte blanche to do whatever he wants with Star Wars. He truly is the second coming of George Lucas. George Lucas lost his mojo and gave it to Dave, but who cares as long as the Star Wars mojo is still around. And it's interesting to me, nostalgia is the name of the game these days in Hollywood, but Dave Filoni is able to double, triple, even quadruple down on nostalgia, because you have references here not just to Star Wars itself and like the movies, like the prequels, but you also have Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and then also the Jedi Fallen Order video game looks like it might even be included here. I mean, they're just bringing everything together. I mean, even Marvel hasn't had video games come into the mix. That's incredible. That's really, really, I am in awe of what Dave Filoni is capable of. Jon Favreau's in there too, and I want to give a shout out to Deborah Chow, who's directing this. Wow, she's going to level up to movies soon. But this is really strong stuff. And Dave Filoni also deserves a lot of credit for making people love the prequel so much, thanks to his animated series. But, there are a lot of... I saw one of the comments being like, I don't think that trailer showed anything. Oh, that's because you aren't familiar with these other Star Wars properties. We're going to go through it. I'll point things out to you. And it looks like we not only have to rewatch the prequels to get ready for Obi-Wan, but we're going to have to go watch Rebels. That's going to be important. That's really interesting stuff. Wow, so exciting. All right, so before we dive in, I just want to point out that this is a movie-level quality trailer, and I would hope that that means we're getting a movie-level quality show. And I think it's helped enormously, not just by the quality of the content, but that you have a beloved, super famous, without a doubt, movie star, although he's been doing a lot of TV lately, but incredibly so, a lot of streaming, reprising an iconic role, perhaps his most iconic role. I think we would feel this way about Indiana Jones 5 if it hadn't been for Indiana Jones 4. But that's just really cool. And I think the show knows it. They know a little Obi goes a long way. So they use him sparingly in this trailer. And I actually appreciate it because there's so much other great stuff to look at. And I love me some Jedis and Siths. I'm torn. Which side do I want to be on? I don't know. I'm a gray Jedi. But I love me some lightsabers. It's really good stuff. And this looks a lot like actually an animated series, one of Filoni's animated series, because I've watched all the Bad Batch. This looks a lot like it, quite frankly. The only difference is that it's live action, and that just further goes to underline how the line between the two, animation and live action, has really been, lessened or made, less clear because of the advancements not only in VFX but in makeup, because they're able to create some of these characters with varying results according to some of you, and I would agree the Grand Inquisitor looks a little funky. All right, let's dive in. All right, so we start out with sand. Obviously we're on Tatooine. I like the sand going away. It gives this it reminds me a little bit of the opening of Aladdin, but it gives this animated movie, but it gives this like a historic, like timeless quality. Like, this is a legendary story you're about to see. And you're like, yeah, I'm excited about that. They have the music swelling. He's riding a camel-type creature, which really helps out the VFX team because they just have to basically slap a different face on that camel. I wonder what the camel looked like on set. I'd love to see its poor little green mask it had to wear. It reminds me of the last Star Wars movie, what was it? Something, The Last Skywalker. I forgot. I can't even... So anyway... they were like, oh, look at these exotic alien animals. I'm like, that's a horse. So I don't know. I wish they'd do a little bit more to jazz it up. But they seem to have spent a lot of money on this show. So if they want to save money where they can, that's fine. And I also think they save money on sets from Mando. All right, so they're walking along. He's a broken man. There he is at work. He's a cog in a wheel. He says, the war's over. The Jedi, we lost. He's in a real bad mood. So pick me uppers haven't been invented yet, some people feel this is the future, right? So anyway, this reminds me a little bit of Rey on Jakku, seeing how hard it is for the common man in Star Wars, common man and woman. And you know, Obi-Wan is a man of the people, so he's right there with him. And then that's where he says we lost. He's like, I'm super depressed, man. Leave me alone. And I don't drink, so I'm just gonna wallow in my sadness. So there he is, and we have another shot from Entertainment Weekly. I'm gonna loop in the Entertainment Weekly photos, the first look, of what his cave actually looks like. He's living a monastic, monk-like life. Vocab words. And so there he is. I'm not sure if that's a droid or his can of food there. He doesn't seem to have a droid, and he didn't have a droid when he went and met up with Luke in A New Hope. So he's sworn off all things. He's like in a really bad mood. He's super depressed. I always read a comic book and have a snack when I'm upset or watch some TV, but those things aren't in Star Wars. All right, so what he does watch? He watches Luke. Who's watching Leia? I guess he felt he left Leia in better hands. That's kind of like, but I know that they did cast Leia for this show, young Leia, so we will get to see her. I don't want to see too much more. I'm just excited for this show. So there they are with Uncle Owen and Aunt, Beru, right? So there's young Luke, and look, he's already in love with being a pilot. I know some of you loved seeing this. This is a little too on the nose for me. He's like, why doesn't he just look at the camera and do a thumbs up? Why don't you have, a womp rat run by? And he's like, oh boy, I wonder if this will ever come in handy. Wink, wink, So, but yes, he looks like he has his father's goggles on, actually, now that I come to think of it. That I like. And so there's Obi-Wan. Look at those gloves. So civilized. I love it. And I even love the way that Ewan McGregor carries himself as Obi-Wan. He can be depressed all he wants, but he's still a knight. He's still an elegant knight. Look at even the snap on those gloves. I like those gloves a lot. He's like, I can't believe I signed up for this. This is very boring. It's about to get unboring. So look, more sand. Oh, it's an epic tale. And this is where the Duel of the Fates song comes in. And this, to me, looks just like right out of a Star Wars Filoni animated show. So we have the Grand Inquisitor narrating this trailer, and he's spreading his anti-Jedi propaganda. So, and it's Rupert Friend. He's narrating this, and he says, the key to hunting Jedi, he has a very good evil voice, is patience. He's like, I'm just going to wait him out, right? He's like Batman. So that's how he looks, and then this is how he looked on the animated series. So he doesn't look quite as good. Maybe he's not working out as much, maybe he's depressed too. But I think that the colors are muted. He doesn't have the angularity of the original character. He looks actually quite a bit like Darth Vader under his helmet. They could be twinsies, quite frankly. But I think it looks okay. So he's speaking and he's interrogating the peoples. He's like talking about how horrible Jedi are. So, as if we didn't know this was already be on Disney Plus. So we have some great music come up, and this looks like worker transportation. And look, I love that. He's like, just everybody leave me alone. He's very antisocial. It's wonderful. It's so relatable, right? He's like, nobody look at me. And this is patience. Isn't that cool? You gotta love the architecture of the Empire. I guess this is the emergence of the it's the Empire, because this is right before the original movies. They're the same thing. I guess that's kind of the point. But anyway, I love this room. It looks fantastic. That is one of our Inquisitors. There's the Grand Inquisitor, and then there are all the Inquisitors underneath him. That's a new Inquisitor played by Moses Ingram from The Queen's Gambit, with flawless skin and makeup. She looks phenomenal. And her name is Riva, and again, she's played by Moses Ingram from The Queen's Gambit, and she did a wonderful job there. She really stood out. So I'm very happy that she got this role. Her costume is like a matte kind of approach to that, so it picks up lighting really well. And I mention that because you're going to see me point it out in many of the shots that she's in this trailer, because it's super awesome. That person in front of her, now the Grand Inquisitor in the animated series had two people beneath him who not only were used more than others, but once, he gets killed. Spoiler alert, he gets killed, and fifth brother and seventh sister vie to take his spot. Why wasn't it Riva? So anyway, that looks to me like fifth brother sitting there. We have a better shot of him a little bit later in the trailer. That doesn't look like seventh sister to me. Maybe she doesn't have her hat on. She doesn't look as cool. That's basically the running thing for the Inquisitors. They don't look as cool, but it is nice to see them. So the key to hunting Jedi is patience. And you see that they've hung one. Like, I think, we saw this heads on pikes. I guess that's comeuppance, right? They put heads on pikes, but that was after. The Mandalorian takes place far after this. So if like Ahsoka were to show up here, she'd be much younger. Well, I think the span of the original trilogy is actually not that long. So it could still be Rosario Dawson. Interesting. But anyway, I guess tit for tat. And this clearly happened first, so pretty bad. But I appreciate them raising the stakes. And there's the Grand Inquisitor wearing black in this desert heat. So that just goes, she really means business. And I think that Uncle Owen just couldn't keep things to himself. That, of course, is Joel Edgerton. One of his first big roles was in the Star Wars prequels, and now he's a well-known actor. And Deborah Chow in Entertainment Weekly had some very nice things to say. Well, it was very brief, the commentary, but she said, thank goodness that George Lucas cast Joel Edgerton in that role so that I could get to work with him and use him here. So that's awesome. So I'm excited to see. I hope that his wife has as much character development. All right, that's right, I went there. So look at that. Oh, she looks amazing. This is very Kill Bill, very Sin City. And also over this, the Grand Inquisitor is continuing to monologue, and he has said, Jedi cannot help what they are. Their compassion leaves a trail, which means they can't pass up helping people, so they give themselves away. So that's great, because that not only implies the goodness of the Jedi, but the evilness of the Sith and the Empire, because they're like, we have no problem not helping somebody. But that looks, as I said, very Kill Bill, very Sin City. It's a really cool look. And this is a new planet. We have a better look at it. Well, I guess I'll do it now. This is a new planet called Daiyu, which is supposed to be like Hong Kong. Obi Wan is there. It looks like he goes into club. I wonder if he'll run into Batman right at the Iceberg Lounge. He's like, hey, they fight from different ends of the room and they meet in the middle, meet cute in the middle. But, it's basically like a Hong Kong, it's a little bit like Madripoor in Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's basically what it is, but for Star Wars. So she's surveying, she's force sensitive because she obviously has Sith capabilities. So she's seeing if she can spot. That's why she makes a great Jedi hunter. So this is obviously from Game of Thrones. This is Indira Varma. She's playing obviously an Imperial officer. She looks super cool. I know as a woman, I do appreciate the female characters, and they all look very cool here. So that looks like maybe Seventh Sister surveying these people because, they're hunting for, I think, Obi-Wan. There he is. He's like, I'm right here, you dummies. Maybe he's using the Force so they can't see him. He's like, this cloak is like a domino mask. For some reason, no one can tell who I am. All right, so there. Oh, I love droids. Always love me some droids. I hope he's fun. I'm sure he will be. I like the bigger droids better than the little ones. So there we see some action. Look, she's using the Force to make her jump really well. And then the Inquisitor... the Inquisitor also said over this, the Jedi code is like an itch. It cannot help it. So he's dehumanizing the Jedi, calling them it. But then, for some reason, he switches tactics to say, where is he? Instead of, where is it, right? Or where's that Jedi scum? So he looks pretty good there. You can see the things under his eyes a little bit better here, and I think he really needs them. And in that shot, you're like, oh yeah, that's Rupert Friend. Rupert Friend actually is a very good actor. I remember before I stopped watching Homeland, he was very good on that. And look, he's like, look at me twirl my lightsaber. Woo. A lot of people have done that at this point. But he's like, what, he's going to hypnotize him? Does he not have eyes? He's like, I have no eyelids. This doesn't bother me. All right. So between darkness. All right, so there's a better shot of Fifth Brother. Looks pretty cool. And I believe that is Sung Kang. And that seems like a waste of Sung Kang to me, quite frankly. I mean, I appreciate how cool and imposing he looks, considering some of the other roles he's played in the past. But I don't know, Sung Kang's so cool, I feel bad that he's stuck under all that makeup. But if anyone can act through all that makeup, it's Sung Kang. I like how tall he is. Little puny stormtroopers behind him. That's pretty awesome. Maybe he will be a cool character. All right. So we see some escaping. Now this is interesting. So this is a lot going on here. So we'll talk about I think both of these things are exciting, quite frankly. Let's start with Reva. So Reva has a lightsaber. Oh, after all the false promises that Finn would have one in the new trilogy, and he kind of had one, but it was lame. He didn't get to use it very much. So I'm really happy to see an actor of color And Samuel L. Jackson, of course, was in the prequels, but he didn't have very much to do. This is very cool. I think this is a big step forward for Star Wars, and I'm super excited about it. And she looks amazing. Look at her form and technique. Oh, I love it. Her arm looks so cool, and her costume accentuates her build really, really well. Feminine yet strong. I love it. But who is she facing off? Well, a number of people believe this might be Cal Kestis, aka Cameron Monaghan of Gotham fame, the Joker, who of course did the voice and provided the motion capture and the face for the video game Jedi Fallen Order. He, of course, is a Jedi, and that game took place 5 years after Revenge of the Sith, but you can see Luke is even older than 5 now, so he would be going around and have learned the things that he does in that game. So I would be all for that being Cameron Monaghan, and I think you see him a couple places in this trailer, shrouded in shadow, but we picked him out. I'm not sure what's on his hand, because he does have a tattoo, but it's on his inner arm, so I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to be. But I can't wait. Look, so there's the Jedi symbol. Somebody's carved it into the wall. See, so hope is still alive, just like Obi-Wan. Now look at that shot. Now some of you think this might be Han Solo in the foreground, and there is a rumor that Harrison Ford shot something for somewhere. Because that does look like his blaster. Will he shoot first here too? But look how cool she looks. I love the way she steps out. She's like, I don't care how famous you are and how cool you are. Have you seen me? So here, this isn't that same gun. You can see it light up when it fires. It doesn't have the scope on it. I think this is Cameron Monaghan again. Why isn't he using a lightsaber? I guess they're too far away. He could just chuck it, right? But then he wants it back. So then there's all these birds explode. They're green doves, basically, because it's Star Wars. They can't be normal doves. So hope survives. And then you have this amazing shot of Ewan McGregor. This is all he does. He has only the voiceover line in the trailer, and he doesn't even wield his lightsaber. He's just watching. Because, actually that's what he's doing when the show starts out. He's just watching. And I think the show is all about just how much crap can we put in here before Obi-Wan has no choice but to act. And it's going to be great when he does. And he doesn't want, I've always talked to you guys about face acting, and I'm so glad a number of you pick up on it now. And this is incredible. This is what gave me chills with the music and his weary look of I'm going to have to do something. Why is it always me? It's just so great with the sun on his face. And then you can see, and then the Darth Vader breathing comes in because, he's going to be a big part of this show. Limited series. I wonder why they call it a limited series. I guess they're tired of us complaining that these things are just 6 episodes. What if it's less than 6 episodes? I would be disgusted. All right, let's see. Don't you dare, unless they're really long episodes. And then, of course, it's this trademark blue lightsaber cutting into to make the logo, which is so cool. I would love it if they would have animated him doing the plus. He'd be like, pull it out, and then bloop, bloop, bloop. That'd be great. That's skill. So I think this is a great trailer. I think it's extremely exciting, and I think that, you got to do a lot of work to be a Star Wars fan, but I think that they make it worth your while. All right, I'm really enjoying getting into it. Finally, right? All right, so what did you guys think? Share your thoughts and observations down below. Do you want another trailer? I think this is good. Subscribe today. I guess maybe one teasing Vader. Subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.